Still moving, subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, right? This is about boxing, man. Devin Haney is about to fight Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko. It's gonna be a dope fight. It's kind of like a 50-50 fight. Of great fights that should be happening. To me, this is a better fight of fighters and on paper than the Tank Garcia fight. This is probably a step under Errol Spence. This is definitely a step under Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. But this is probably one of the biggest fights, or it's going to be one of the biggest fights of the year. But the reason why I'm doing this, I told y'all a long time ago, if you've been on my channel, I did a boxing podcast for like 5 years. And I was looking at the interviews, and one of them was talking about how Devin Haney was like, listen, I know what you've been training. I know you've been training to slip the jab. I know you've been training, hit on the break. I know you're a dirty fighter, blah, blah, blah. I know what you're doing. And if people recall, when Tank had his fight with Ryan Garcia, he was like, I know you got hurt to the body. I know you got hurt to the body in camp. You ain't got, I know what's going on with you. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is what happens is, before this might happen, because I might be jumping the gun on this, but fighters, know what's going on with other fighters. Other fighters talk. So the only thing I don't want to happen in fighting is when a black fighter it has his ear to what's going on in his opponent's training camp. It's gonna probably be considered spying. And what it is fighters talk. Like people send people to spar people, and some people do good work, and some people, do not so good. So when people do good, people hear about it. Like, oh yeah, they spar such and such, and they did pretty nice. You get what I'm saying? And they was working on this and this, that, and the third. It's not. Sometimes it's not even on purpose. But I'm gonna just run this back because of how far I can think about this happening. In a modern era, about people talking about stuff. I remember when Andre Ward fought Chad Dawson at a catchweight, which was a great matchup at the time. Years later, Andre Ward said, when he was on the podium, after, like, I think at the weigh-in, he told Chad Dawson, "I know you got knocked out in camp," and he saw Chad Dawson's response like, "Yeah, I got him, I got him, I got him." You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Oh," so that was, whoo, maybe 7 years ago. Maybe, I don't know. So it was a minute. It was a minute. It might have been 2016. It was a long time ago. I remember, what's your boy's name? God dog it. Floyd Mayweather. He was talking about that with Shane Mosley. He was like, you got trouble making weight, so I'm gonna train because I know he can't. I think he did the same thing with Berto. Like, I know what's going on and you can't. You know what I'm saying? He said that about on the back end when they were doing the 24/7s. The majority of the fighters he faced, he was like, I know what you're doing. This is chess. It ain't checkers. And a lot of times, people like to use that as an excuse because if y'all remember, Errol Spence, part of his mystique and part of his aura came from, man, they had this young fighter who was fighting Floyd and he was giving him that work. And that was Errol Spence early on in his career. So even if, it doesn't matter who's fighting or sparring, if you got a young up-and-coming fighter or you getting some good work from a young up-and-coming fighter, people going to know. They're going to talk about it. They're going to talk. That happens. So, but the thing about it is, I don't want it to be, I want people to take a understanding about, if people say somebody's spying, they're going to say somebody's cheating. And this is what I really want to talk about, is because ultimately in boxing, there's a lot of suspect things that goes on. It's just in my opinion. Like weight bullying is suspect to me, but pretty much everybody does it unless you're a heavyweight. Most of these people, a lot of these people don't they lose a lot of weight to make their weight class. They don't necessarily hover around their weight and fight in that weight. They might be 10, 15, 20, you know, every now and then like 30 pounds more than their division, and they shrink down and fight. So, people, they've accepted it, but it's like, that's kind of, that could be considered cheating, right? Um, but and it's unfortunate when black fighters do something that people have an issue with, that when everybody else cheats, it doesn't matter. And this is why I'm talking about this, because nobody has an issue with, even though they don't say it now. Y'all don't say it when the judges, when people feel like judges are paid off. You get what I'm saying? Nobody says anything. Nobody says anything when somebody goes, okay, when these fighters are fighting away from their home, how they're at a disadvantage because even though they're away from their home, the judge is going to cheat for them on the cards. What's up, she? Like, are these fighters spying on it? So, especially when it comes to black fighters, as many times as I've seen black fighters get shafted publicly, you know, I think it's a load of BS. Like, I remember when Canelo fought Austin Trout. It was in San Antonio, and I had a big problem with that. Because in Texas, when you fight, um, they can let you know what's going on in the first 3 rounds on the scorecard, right? So they basically let Austin Trout know by third round, you down all 3 rounds. And the problem was he was in San Antonio, and it was the environment was predominantly a Mexican environment. You get what I'm saying? So what happened is you got this situation where it's a predominantly Mexican environment. I don't know what happened as far as the comments. So uh, because it was a predominantly Mexican environment, he was supposed to accept the fact they was going to cheat him, because he was representing, what is it, Las Cruces, I want to say is New Mexico, which is not too which is not too far, right? Well, it's far, but it ain't as far as San Antonio is concerned. But since he grew up in like a predominantly Hispanic environment, he should know they're gonna cheat, and since he the black fighter, he should know they're gonna cheat him. But that for when you put the shoe on the other foot, it's like it doesn't count. It's like, oh, okay. It's been years where people have done things like, they don't do it anymore, but people used to cheat. People used to cheat in the sense of, you know, maybe poisoning a fighter, trying to get him sick the day before the fight. Um, I remember when Margarito fought Cotto, and he got, and on the back end it was like, you got plaster on your hands. It was two Hispanic fighters fighting, but he got caught by was it Nassim Richardson? Rest in peace to him. When Shane Mosley was the trainer, he was like, let me see these raps. Nah, we ain't using that. And then in the fight, he got dog walked. You know, and subsequently, then people started looking back and going, hey man, he was cheating on this, that, and this, that, and the third. But it didn't hit like that, and because people called him a cheater. Pretty much, they washed his whole career off and called him a cheater from that point on. Because like, nah, you didn't walk down these fighters, you cheated. But it wasn't like, what was the fighter's name? Was that Aaron Pryor and his trainer? When the guy had the water, he was like, "Get the water that I mixed." He got banned. He got banned. Like that trainer got banned for that. Which he should have got. He definitely should have got something. Because I think the fighter died in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't Aaron Pryor, now that I think about it. But the fighter, the trainer got banned for life, and I know the fighter got in a whole bunch of trouble. But it's because, in essence, boxing has been so one-sided, where cheating is so rampant to the point where fighters know when they're getting into a fight. Like, whether it's racial, whether it's home field, whether it's a promoter, you're up against, you up against the wall. Like in a sense of, that's why they tell some fighters, man, the only clear way you're gonna beat somebody is you knock them out. Cause you could beat somebody handily, and guess what? You lose. You know what I'm saying? So if black fighters are doing something that people feel like this getting these guys an advantage, understand all the other groups of people are doing the very same thing. White fighters are getting information from people's camps. Hispanic fighters are getting information from people's camps. Asian fighters are getting information from people's camps. They're getting it. Like it's just that's what happens. So if a black fighter beats a non-black fighter, and he says, "Yo, man, I know what y'all doing. I know what y'all working on." When that fighter wins, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Panama look appreciate it, fam. Yeah, appreciate it. Panama, thank you. It was a minute. So when that happens, take that into consideration. Like, yo, man, this is what happens. This is what goes on in the quote unquote fight business. People feel like they get cheated all the time. You know, um, when you look at the history, like even in my lifetime, some of the fights and some of the decisions that I've seen from being a child to an adult, like really, and usually they were so controversial. Like in my opinion, um, don't get me wrong, Chavez Senior is one of the best to ever do it. But in my opinion, in all honesty, when he fought Meldrick Taylor and they stopped the fight with 5 seconds left, they gave him the fight. They gave him the fight at that point. You're like, oh, it's over 5 seconds. It's like, no, he wasn't gonna, no, because he lost that fight. He got beat. It is what it is. He got beat, but we not gonna, if I can step in, I'm gonna give it to you with 5 seconds left. Because when you hit a dot 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 with 10 seconds left, no referee is gonna say, that's when a person is supposed to get knocked out to win a fight because you get stopped by the bell. The bell doesn't stop the fight. But nobody ends a fight with 5 seconds left because I think he gonna hurt him. Like, yeah, he was busted up bad. I ain't gonna front, but he could have made 5 seconds in it. And everybody who've ever seen that fight to now knows that. But it was okay because hey, goes to the aura and the mystique. Um, I remember when thank you. That was the water with the cocaine. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, Panama got in trouble for a few things. Uh, I remember when Pernell Whitaker fought Oscar De La Hoya. He beat Oscar De La Hoya in that fight. He got a knockdown. It was kind of a the knockdown was kind of a push punch, like off balance, but it still counts, technically. But in all honesty, he beat Oscar De La Hoya. But hey, Oscar De La Hoya was up and coming. He was, the golden boy. He was gonna be the face of boxing. So they gave him one. You know, even people will say the same thing about Floyd Mayweather in the first Castillo fight. They say, Floyd lost that fight to Castillo. And if you look at it, if you look at the fight, because he was hurt, he was hurt, but he fought that night. You look at it, he he I think he's out punched, outlanded, you know, like he won that fight, and Castillo landed more punches, and I think threw more punches. And it's like they gave it to him because he was the golden child at the time, right? And it's like, that's what. So he had the part two, like when I'm fully healthy, I'm gonna make sure you don't feel like you got cheated and I walked away. So he got him in the second fight, but that happens in boxing. You know what I'm saying? It goes both ways. So when it comes to this idea, in my opinion, when people go to somebody cheated, they don't say much. I remember when Canelo got busted for the PEDs. It's like I was eating tainted meat from what is he eating tainted meat from some kind of taco restaurant, you know. What's up, Ray? He was eating some tainted meat. It was like, nah, no, he was just cheating. He was just cheating. The same thing with he was talking about Manny Pacquiao back in the day. He never got busted. He never got busted for steroids, but he did do some questionable stuff. I remember, I forgot which fight that was. He walked behind a curtain, like it was live, and he walked behind a curtain. Not like, and it was like the way they did it was suspicious and suspect. It's like people do crazy stuff. Yeah, appreciate it, blue guy. Like people don't realize, like stuff has been happening for a while. I just don't want, if a black fighter wins, you go, oh, the black people been doing this. It's like, no, everybody has done this. I forgot, like years ago, there's some suspicious behavior in boxing. L.A.R won a fight one time, and it was like he swallowed like a bag. Like people don't know, did he swallow a bag of pills? Did he put a grill in his mouth? What did he do? It's like doing something to like pass the physical after the test. You know, right? Fighters been scheming on each other to get it, but I know people play these angles like it doesn't happen. And thank you, fixed fights. Like that stuff for some odd reason doesn't count with people. So to me, it's like, listen, man. Fighters look at other fighters all the time. They want to know, oh, what is this person doing? Does this person have trouble making weight? Does this person have a drinking problem? Is this person partying too much? Is this person not taking their training serious? Is this person out for a check? Like I remember when, matter of fact, when Manny Pacquiao fought Oscar De La Hoya, I don't know. I'll get to my prediction in a few. Uh, uh, I remember when Manny Pacquiao fought not Lomachenko, but Oscar De La Hoya, it was even in that like 24/7. It was kind of like they were basically alluding to Oscar. He's trying his best, but you know, this guy might be a tough one. And you kept hearing the stories of people just beating up on him in camp that time. You know. Now when it come to the prediction, I do that. In this fight, I ain't gonna front. Between Haney and Loma, that's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. I'm gonna tell you why. Um, Loma didn't look like Loma, particularly in his last fight, but he gonna be sharper in this fight. You know, everybody has favorites though. But because I think Loma's gonna look good. He's gonna look good. Uh, I think Haney's got all the advantages, and the reason why I would say, in my opinion, Haney probably is going to win this fight, because Loma said something in particular, like Haney got a jab. Haney got a jab, and that's pretty much it. It was kind of like talking about the and Tank Garcia fight, where Garcia only got a left hook. So if you facing a southpaw and he circle you to the right, he really nullifies your left hook. Then what you got? Nothing. If that's all you got, he's basically talking like all Haney got is a jab. And I can say, okay, like all he got is a jab. Fine. Most important punch in boxing is a jab. But here's the problem. I don't think I'm tired. I don't think Lomachenko has the power to knock down and knock out Haney anyways. I don't think so. I don't think, because of the size, because of the age, you know, does anybody see Loma just dropping Haney? I don't think so. And in all honesty, Haney isn't like a knockout puncher, but when you look at these people that faces, they be messed up after the fight. Like he beats people up over accumulation of time, so they look messed up. So yeah, his jab is not. I mean, is he primary on the jab? Yeah, but you got to watch his 1-2. And if y'all remember, one of his best knockouts, his career highlight knockout was not a 1-2. It was like a feint to the body, and he just basically a haymaker hook to the head, and he just dropped the old boy. But I remember how he set it up, because what he did was he hit him straight. He went a straight jab, then he went down and basically hit him with that hook to the body. And then he went to the body with the jab, and then he came over the top, kind of blocked off his hand and just rocked him. Slept the old boy. I forgot which fight that was, but that was like maybe 3 years ago. So understand something. He has more power than you think. Loma definitely got him on the footwork. Definitely, definitely gonna move. You know, appreciate it. That's the one I'm talking about. Loma is a better inside fighter. I would definitely agree with that. But that inside fighter don't mean he gonna drop him, and I think that's a problem. It's not the jab that I'm concerned about with Devin Haney, and it's not the jab that like if Loma nullifies the jab, like that doesn't bother me, you know, because you don't have to. The jab can keep him at bay. It's gonna be a tough fight for both of them, you know. But I will say this: it's gonna be very, very. He said it's Devin's chin. That's the interesting thing, though. Y'all, does Loma actually have a chin like y'all think? Loma been down multiple times in his career. I know the him getting rocked by Linares is on the chopping block, but how many times has Loma been down in his career? What, two, three, four? He's been knocked down a few times. So he can be knocked down, and by guys that people probably would consider to be a less powerful puncher than Haney, or on the same level. You know, yeah, he was. Yeah, but Loma been down. That's a difference. Being wobbled and being down is a big difference. You know, everybody's been rocked. Everybody's been wobbled, but everybody ain't been down. No, he no, he's been more. Somebody else dropped him. No. Somebody else dropped him. I know what you're talking about. Somebody else dropped him. I forget the fight, but he wasn't, because he beat the brakes off the dude after that, and it wasn't Linares. I know the one you talking about. He's been down more than once. Um, Same thing like with the Salido fight. Initially, he has a problem with bigger fighters. That's going to be an issue. He doesn't have like he doesn't have the power. Like let me put it to you like this: if you put Loma in a ring right now with Tank, he probably get knocked out. What's up? You know, because I don't see Loma hurting Tank. If you put Loma in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, I think he get outclassed. And I think Devin, he's got the ability to outclass him, but this got to be a close fight because these two dudes, they serious. You know, I think that push made good. You know, I think I think it's a good storyline. Even the him not, you know, bro, Loma got no chance with Tank. No chance with Tank. It's no way on the planet Loma beats Tank. Ever. Even before, even 3 years ago. Like if you could put the Loma 3 years ago in the Tank ring with Tank right now, it'll be bad. It would be bad, brutal. Cause you gotta understand they both around the same height, they both got around the same reach, and he Tank could take what Loma's throwing. Loma ain't gonna be able to take what Tank throwing back. That would be horrible. You know. Nah, I don't think Tank gonna clean the house. Honestly, I think the best fighter in that division will be Shakur Stevenson. I think at this particular juncture, he's far and away probably the better fighter out of all three of them. You know, I like that makes him like, but honestly, they're all dangerous. Like, in my opinion, if I put all four of them together, you know, Loma, Tank, Devin, and Shakur, I say two of them have the ability to be 4-0 with that. Like, I think Shakur could be 4-0, and I think Devin could be 4-0. It's weird to say that, but I think, you know, but when it comes to that, I think Devin could be 4-0 out of that bunch. That was a while back. He he'll wear him out right now. Like, you know. Tank ain't sleeping all of them. Tank ain't sleeping all of them. I can guarantee you that. They're not going. They're not gonna allow Tank to counter punch. And this ain't about Tank, but I think Tank's one. He's the face of boxing. Personally, he's the face of boxing. But I think Shakur is just too good with distance. He's just too good with. He's not gonna. He's not gonna let Tank wait and counter punch him. He gonna get out on Tank, bang bang, and to the point as far as the distance concerned. He's not gonna let Tank close that distance to get off a shot. Because Tank is a very very great counter puncher, very smart boxer, very high IQ, and he knows he don't have to hit you with a bunch of shots to get you. But I think people like Shakur and Devin know better than to like I'm gonna put these points up on the board on him. I'm gonna get rounds and rounds ahead of him. And if you've noticed, maybe Tank's last 4 or 5 fights, for the most part, except for this last one with Ryan, he's comfortable with being down on the scorecards. He's been down 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds of people and got him out of there. I don't think he could get down on the scorecards that far with a person like Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. Because I think they'll pot shot him and jab him out of contention. That's not gonna work. With those fighters, I don't think that'll work. That's just my just from a tactical standpoint. Like if he get a hold to you, you out of there. I definitely believe that. But I think they'll make it very very difficult for him to get there. He might be down 4-2, 5-1, and then and realize I gotta press it. They're gonna try to make him a attack so they can counterpunch. But like as far as the Loma thing, I don't think, and this might sound crazy, but it doesn't sound crazy. But Loma is very great with his feet and footwork, but I don't think he could fight as well going backwards. So I think if you press him to go backwards, you don't necessarily nullify him, but you kind of put him in a spot he's not comfortable with. Like when he goes side to side and in angles, he's a demon to deal with. But just when you make him go back, it's a problem. You know. Yeah, but Tank ain't gonna. Shakur ain't gonna, bro. Shakur is not that. Shakur is like this close from being him. That dude right now. That is not a person to mess with. That, yeah, he had the pressure, but he's not. Personally, right now, Shakur is probably at the. He's the most dangerous out of them. Devin got all the belts. Tank got the stardom, and I think Shakur is the most dangerous one. You know what I'm saying? Shakur is like the person that could just. He has the ability to wash everybody. You know. What's the? Oh yeah. Yeah, but him and Corolla ain't on the same level as Haney at all. But you gotta remember, like Corolla's around the same size as Loma. A bigger guy backing you up and a guy around your side, like, Corolla, he was on he was on a nice win when he met him, But what I'm about to say gonna suck. Just for the record. If you remember correctly, you remember when Loma fought Nicholas Walters, the Axeman, and the way he fought him, basically Top Rank shelved him and had him just like coming in on a like you fight this fight. You doubt if you win, it's gonna be a problem. He ain't fighting Isaac Cruz again, fam. He's not. He's not. Not gonna happen. That would be an exciting fight though. My personal opinion, I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. I think Devin Haney's gonna win this fight, and I think if once Devin Haney wins this fight, I think he's gonna drop all the belts and move up to 140. And when he does that, I think it's gonna be a Tank Shakur and Loma are going to, be going at it. And I mean, maybe Frank Martin. Maybe Frank Martin. Because I think Frank Martin is in that class, if I'm not mistaken. I forget what weight class Frank Martin is in, but I think he's around that class. He's either 35 or 40, I forget. But he's going to drop them belts, move up to 140, in my opinion. And then you're going to see Shakur, Tank, and Loma go at it. Go at it. And they'll be like, yeah. But eventually, I doubt Tank moves up, and I doubt uh, Lomachenko moves up, because I think it's the biggest way he could pretty much go right now. Because he's like 35, so I think this is where he gonna stop it. But it's gonna be a fight. It's definitely gonna be a fight. I'm gonna take Devin just on the size, and it's not the size and reach, but really it's his right cross. His right hand that's gonna be thing. Yeah, okay, yeah. Keyshawn. Oh yeah, Keyshawn Davis a mother. Keyshawn Davis is a mother. So, woo, like there are fighters that are in the mix right now. They gonna have an issue. And who's a wild card for that? I just forgot about that. Tevin Farmer. I think he's still in that, like, still around that weight class, if I'm not mistaken. Tevin Farmer is still around it, because Tevin always wanted to fight Tank, because you remember they used to go back and forth before both of them won a belt. Uh, so if he gets back in the mix, I believe he's training again. He got a YouTube page, by the way. It's hilarious. So you can see him on YouTube. But if he can get back into, get him a good 2 3 year stretch where he gets back into form like he was when he became champion, oh, it's gonna be an issue. Cause a lot of y'all, like, matter of fact, let me back this up. You remember when Devin fought JoJo Diaz? That is more of a preparation for Loma than people expect. So JoJo Diaz is you know, I wish he would have got a belt like Earl, but JoJo Diaz is a really, really good fighter. Really, really, really good fighter. You know, Olympic training, good feet, got better and better and better. No. Farmer lost to JoJo Diaz. Yeah, appreciate that. But I'm talking about Haney. Haney and Diaz. You know, Haney and Diaz. Because if I'm not mistaken, sometimes I get old. I'm pretty sure Haney beat Diaz. Thank you. Yeah, he picked up Farmer's back at 30. Yeah, but but him and that was a fight for that's a prerequisite for dealing with Loma. You know, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. So I did forget about that one with Farmer and JoJo. I did forget about that one. So I appreciate that. So at the end of the day, like, usually I'm kind of like, when a 50-50 fight, I gotta lean somewhere. I don't think Loma got the power to take it. That's my issue. My issue is Loma don't have. I don't think he has the power to take it. And when a person like that starts relying on power, like, I could really knock this person out. That's never been your thing. Never been your thing. So sometimes when you get there, you get flat-footed. You know. Yeah. You know, but it's gonna be, man. It's gonna be ugly. This is gonna probably be close to the best fight of the year if they can make freaking Spence and Crawford. Which, by the way, I ain't gonna front. I still take Crawford. You know, right now. That's the biggest fight of the year, 50-50 fight. But that's an ugly fight right there. That's gonna be a war. That's gonna be the biggest. That is gonna be the biggest war of the year. But right now, let's keep it to where it's at. Loma. I don't want people to say, okay, a fighter was looking at another fighter's camp and he cheated his way to beating him. No, because I can guarantee you, whatever Devin Haney's working on, Loma has some information. Guarantee you, Loma got some information. Yeah, they working on this, and this. You know, that's why you prepare for everything. When you're in camp, you prepare for everything. Like, everything can happen. What are my thoughts on the future? What you mean? What about Izzy? What about Izzy? Izzy and the girlfriend suing him? That's the. I mean, I don't. The UFC. I'm gonna say this. Dang, you finna make me be a jerk. Okay, here's the thing. The reason why the UFC is more popular than boxing right now, honestly, in my opinion, is because boxers ain't trying to fight each other. There's a lot of big names with good records in boxing that they just duck people. They don't make the great fights that they should. And with the UFC, if you win, if you lose, uh, you can, if you lose in the UFC, they're gonna drop you down the ranks. You got to fight your way back up. But in boxing, boxing fans made it so like, yo, if you lose, you just a bum for the rest of your life, and it's like that's not true. Depends on who you fought and who you beat or who you lost to. So now, personally, I think the fighters they get the payday they want, and then they out of there. Like I thought that for years. Look, man, I remember when, and I'm gonna tell you how far this started with me. I remember when Adonis Stevenson beat Chad Dawson and he ran around the ring, and I was like, you know what? I don't think he gonna defend that title against no top fighters like that. I think he kind of gonna get on the outskirts. And for me, that's what he had did. I'm glad he's back healthy though. Don't get that twisted, man. Just salute to him. But I feel like he took an easier route after he got the title, all the way up to Canelo to this day. The fight that Canelo had recently. That was like man, how many times we gonna let people duck? We gonna let people like him duck. We gonna let him duck people and act like it's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's the promoters and the different organizations like the WBA. No, 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 no. I used to think it was the promoters. It's not the promoters. It's the fighters. You got 37,000 belts, and y'all can't fight for none of them. Think about it. I'm talking about Loma and Devin right now, right? Everybody who's a boxing fans know, even though Tank is in that same weight class, Devin actually got the belt for that Tank has. That's actually Devin's belt. Devin has the real belt. He has the other kind of belt. So you got an undisputed champion in the same weight class with a guy who got a belt, who's the face of boxing. Don't make no sense. You know, yeah, he just got smoked. You talking about Bivol, Dmitry Bivol? He's Russian, I think, but Ukraine. He's not Ukrainian. I'm tripping. But no, he just fought the other dude in Mexico. It didn't make no sense. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Canelo didn't. See, let me tell you something. As a boxing fan and as a Canelo fan, we gonna stop lying like this, man. Everybody wanted to be Floyd Mayweather and didn't want to fight champions. We talk. If you bring up Canelo, what he did, you forgetting a whole lot of stuff. So let me run it back to you. Canelo was supposed to fight Triple G, and he dropped the WBC belt. You remember that? That happened, and he waited a year and a half, 2 years to fight Triple G after that. You remember that? I ain't no fight for belts. And then he like, you right, he left the belt. Canelo and Lomachenko is part of the reason you got is really they gave them those franchise belts. When they talk about Haney having an email title, they gave Canelo and Lomachenko belts that you can't lose. No matter how much you fight. A franchise belt is basically, this is who we riding with. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, Triple G won that first fight. That's my opinion too. But back to the Canelo thing. Canelo's ducked Benavidez. Canelo's ducked Charlo. Canelo's ducked Andre. He didn't went up. I can't make 60. I can't make 54. I remember those days. I can't make 54 no more. But he can make 155. That was ridiculous. Then I'm at 60. Then the fighters went up to 60. Then, oh, well, I'm going to go to 68. Then the fighter said, okay, I'll go to 68. Then, well, I'm going to go to 75. It's like, yo, he's running, dog. He been running. That's the issue with Canelo. Great. Think about it. Once he's I made this prediction about him years ago. Though he's a great fighter, great counterpuncher, sharp, good head movement, he's still flat-footed and he still can't deal with movement and a jab. I don't, I got a problem with Canelo because he ducked too much, ducked too much, and yeah, Spence and Crawford is driving me crazy too. It's like make the fight, dog. Just make the fight. Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me, man. Stop the cap. You know what I'm saying? I got much respect for Errol because he like, man, I ain't taking no tune-ups. And every now and then, like, I could say this about Errol Spence for sure. After he got in that accident, the longer you let him take these breaks, in my opinion, the more he heals to the point where he was Errol before he got into the wreck. So, because to me, sometimes he came off a little punchy and slurred for about a year. He always had like a drawl to him and the kind of low tone. Seemed like a real cool, chill dude. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like he's getting back to like, oh yeah, he's a problem. It's true. I know what you're talking about. You don't remember. Let me run this down to you. Do you remember when Canelo beat Cotto for the belt? It was the 154 title. Remember that? And he couldn't fight him at 154. If I'm not mistaken, I remember when Canelo fought Angulo. Canelo weight drained Angulo. I remember that. I remember Canelo fighting, was that Morales or somebody like that? No, it was Morales. I remember that. I remember when he fought Amir Khan, and he was 160, and Amir Khan was like 140 something. I remember that. Like, I get what you're saying about Canelo and Charlo, but you got to remember at that particular time, he was playing with weight at that time. I'm going to go up, I'm going to go down, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, I'm going to go there. It was all kinds of ridiculous stipulations. Then he fought Danny Jacobs. I remember that. When he beat Danny Jacobs, and I got to give him credit for that. Definitely, he beat Danny Jacobs flat out, straight up and down, no issue. What he was trying to do with Charlo was no. Because remember, they both was at 154, and he didn't fight. Then he moved up to 160, and the one we call like Big Charlo is actually the little brother, if I'm not mistaken. But he moved up to 160, and then Canelo didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight in 2000, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And that same issue happened with Andre. If you remember, Andre switched promotional companies to try to fight him, and it didn't happen. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's the problem. No, the Haney Loma ain't terrible. It's just you got people not gonna give Haney his credit yet, and I think personally, if this keeps going with Devin Haney, he's like 23. If he keeps going down this road and he keeps fighting these fights and he keeps winning, I'm gonna tell you something. He gonna be dangerous in the future. Because the worst thing you can give a person like that is confidence. And he's like, look, I done got undisputed. If I beat Loma, I don't want to hear nothing. Who next? He might fight Rowley next or something like at 140. He hasn't fought since 2021. 2000, so I think he got hurt. I was supposed to go to that fight. He got hurt. And he ain't fought since. I think it might trip him over the belt, but I think he gonna fight this year. You know, the only reason, woo, man, they have been promoting this Loma fight for a minute. You know, Like right now, the only person, in my opinion, like if Devin Haney wins this fight, I don't want to hit. Just cement him on the pound for pound list this year and next year. You know, right? Because he moved up in weight. He moved up. He moved up the fight. Because Rolly is a star. Rolly's a star. Let's just be honest. He's an awkward fighting, trash talking. When some of y'all, somebody brought when you brought up the UFC thing, Rolly's like Chael Sonnen. He could talk his way into a fight now. Think you know that hit that little squeaky voice. Well, I don't give a fuck about what's going on. Like he's all right. He's gonna be straight. Now he won a belt. That stoppage was just. Even he can admit that stoppage was just. That was terrible. That stoppage was bad. But if he says he won't go up to 47 for the big fights, I appreciate the heart, but he gonna get smoked if he do that. You know, yeah, like he wins, it's over. He's already more accomplished than Tank. Like Rolly, I like Rolly though. You know, but like they killing it. Oh, my bad. Let me back up. What I was trying to say about fighters, the difference between the UFC and boxing is the fighters not fighting. I remember one of the persons who probably could have been the biggest star in boxing was Danny Garcia. When he beat, who? You right. Prograis is a mother. If y'all ain't never seen Regis Prograis fight, he about to fight in a few weeks because I think his opponent got hurt. So I think there's a guy that was calling him out. He might be fighting, or he didn't take it. I don't know. If you ever get a chance to see Regis Prograis fight, that's a monster right there. Rougarou, that's what they used to call Rougarou. I don't know if he still go by that name. Light skinned dude, braids. He got thick ass hands. That's a fighter, dog. He hurts people. I think him and that Josh Taylor fight in London, that was a brawl. That could have went either way. If it was in America, I would say Regis would have won the fight. If it's in the UK, he lost the fight. That was a close fight, back and forth. That was just a great all-around fight. Much respect to them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like since Lennox versus Tyson, but hey man, boxing has gotten better. Ooh. Oh, Matias, you know what? I hadn't watched him not like that. I know who you talking about. I tell you somebody at a different weight class that from Spain. I want to say it's Spain. Was it Esquivo Falcao? Like is it Esquiva is Falcao. He's like at 160, 168, 175, somewhere along in there. That motherfucker fight. You know, it's a few it's people that are up and coming, and he shouldn't be up and coming. He should have a belt by now, honestly. Um, but these fighters don't want to fight each other. You know, that I was getting back to it. UFC makes you fight. These fighters are not trying to fight each other. They keep trying to let's build up a super fight. And it's like ain't no super fight. Ain't no super fight when you ain't gonna fight nobody back to back to back. You know, I feel you. You know, in your opinion, to me that could have been that was an either way fight. That could have been a draw, a 7-5 one way, 7-5 the other way. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at that fight. I was like that was just a good fight. You know, them two brothers got heart. You know, and Josh Taylor don't get the credit he deserved. In all honesty, he need to be a bigger name. Who is fighting Josh Taylor? Coming up to fight Josh Taylor, they gotta watch that. Cause somebody it's some big name that's like they fighting Josh Taylor next, and they're like, hey man. Matter of fact, let me say this. You got me tripping. You said that you didn't know about the fight because it's another fight that y'all need to watch out for after this Lomachenko fight and Devin Haney fight. It's Fulton versus Inoue. That's gonna be in Japan. Steve Fulton versus I can't never say Inoue's first name right, but that is gonna be another one. It's like at 122 or some shit like that. That's a fight. That's a fight. That's a fight. And for the last, true be told, for the last like 3-4 years, Monster has not been getting his credit on that pound for pound list. Monster could be actually number one on that pound for pound list at any given time. Yes, yes, Inui. Yeah, I can't never say the first name right. Yeah, that motherfucker right there. If he wasn't Japanese, he'd be the face of boxing. In all honesty, that motherfucker right there is the real deal. That dude right there is that's serious work. Serious, serious work. But him fighting Steve Fulton in Japan, that's gonna be a great fight too. You know, I ain't gonna lie. I like Cool Boy, but Inoue, I ain't going against no Inoue. I am not going against no Inoue. Not happening. But when it comes to fights, man, UFC makes them, boxers don't. You know, hey man, Inoue is a mob. People don't know Inoue is a mob. Like that little dude, he got all my respect. Like Monster is the one. It reminds me of when Chocolatito was like right when Floyd retired. Chocolatito kind of took over the boxing. People didn't give him his credit because he was so small. People not underestimating Loma. Loma's an all-time great. Don't you ever get that twisted. Loma's an all-time great. Sometimes it's not the fighters and it's the styles, it's the tactical part of it. You know. Hey, hey man, NUE dog. NUE a serious thing. Yeah, I get you, Dante, but you forget like Loma don't have power like that either. Loma don't have power. I would take a bigger fighter over a smaller fighter if both of them have the quote unquote the same amount of power. I promise you, Haney's gonna look more powerful than Loma. Loma's gonna have to throw haymakers. He gonna have to throw haymakers, and it's gonna be hard to catch Devin, because he will tie you up. You get too close, he gonna hug you. he gonna give you a nice little Valentine's Day hug. You know, so it's Devin Haney can pick him apart from long range. He can pick him apart from mid range. Now, if that fight becomes like an inside fight, for sure, like your brother said earlier, if it's in the pocket, he gonna get beat. The Loma beat the brakes off of him if that fight stay in the pocket. But I doubt it's gonna be in the pocket. I doubt that. I completely doubt that. That's gonna be a long range, mid range fight. It's not gonna be an inside fight. He's not gonna let that happen. He's not gonna let it happen. And Loma got the movement to do it, but the minute he pivots and slides, I'm telling you, he's just gonna turn with him. He gonna always face him. Like this gonna be a straight up, not necessarily straight up and down, but Devin might keep him straight up and down. Like dog, no dog, he might walk him down slowly. But I'd be shocked if Loma would do something. Yeah, he's not gonna do that. Oh yes, man, Spence let Mikey have it, and people don't realize he outboxed Mikey Garcia, and Mikey Garcia IQ wise and skill level and his resume is all time great, by the way. He just outboxed him just to show the people how I can outbox him because he was the bigger fighter. He's like, I'm gonna hit jab, 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 pow, jab, 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 straight, jab, jab, hook, jab, body jab, head jab, high, low, high, let me hit you with this cross. One more time, bop, bop, bop. I might get you with a wild hook, bop. It was crazy. He kept him at bay. What's going on? He just kept him at bay. Like Loma defensively can get around it, but ask yourself a question. Who was that Loma was fighting when he backed himself into the corner and he waved him like, come on? He's not doing that with Devin Haney. He's not gonna. He can't get close to the ropes. He can't get around there. Man, yeah. No, I mean, I think he hit his number. I think Mikey Garcia is like a lot of fighters. He hit his number and he slowed down. I think Mikey made enough money and he was like, he cool with it. I think Danny Garcia was the same way. He made his money. He cool with it. I think Adrian Broner was like that. He made his amount of money. He was cool with it. I think he spent it or something, and now he like, you got to get back to boxing. But I think a lot of these, who else I could say that with? Um, I feel I could be wrong. I could be wrong when I say that. What's your boy name? He swole because he fought. He got in trouble after a while. Not Dijon. Black brother, like French Canadian. He wound up winning the belt later. I think like fighting Adonis Stevens and somebody else. Forgot his doggone name. But it was a bunch of fighters who I think they hit their number and they packed it in. They hit their number, they packed it in. Like, I don't need to do this no more. They got some of them got a couple of checks after the fact. That's it. Like, you know, you're not gonna see fighters like Sean Porter anymore, who like, I will fight everybody. You're not gonna see that anymore. You're not gonna see fighters like Badu Jack. No, it ain't Badu. It ain't Badu. Badu fought him though. Badu fought old boy. He lost. I think he lost the belt to him. Matter of fact, because he got in trouble. He got older for like he got busted for steroids or something like that. He's a Badu's like from Switzerland or something like that. This dude is like either from France or Canada. Dang it, I forgot his name. It's not the Jean. It's another dude. But you're not gonna see fighters like that anymore, who are just saying, "I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight somebody." You're not gonna see people who pull like Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi got hit. You know, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I forgot his name. Stevens. No, he has a French last name. A French last name. I can't. It's swirling around in my head. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. It's not French. It's not Francois. Something like that. It's not that. I want to say Jean. I want to say Jean, but I ain't 100% sure. Um, but it's you're not gonna see people like, how can I say this? You might not see somebody like, we never probably gonna see another Floyd in his lifetime. But you might not see another Andre Ward, somebody who goes on a run like he went. Because people don't realize, because I honestly think even though the Super Six died down, they need to keep it going. They need another Super Six, like, because at that point that weight class was so stacked, they need to make a Super Six for every just for the stacked weight classes themselves, because that creates superstars. These fighters ain't gonna be a superstar, Like Tank is a superstar because he's a show. He's like a little Mike Tyson show. The knockout's coming, but you don't see all of the stuff that goes on anymore. People forget, like, even with Floyd, you got to think of all the things that happened around Floyd's era. You got to think of all the great fighters that was around those weight classes in Floyd's era. Not even in the beginning and the end. You know, you forget people forget about Chico. People forget about like Sugar Shane was Vernon Forrest. Oscar. Uh, um, you know, was it not Corrales? Morales. You get what I'm saying? Morales. You remember Manny was fighting Barrera and all that? Like, all these guys was all around the same era. Juan Manuel Marquez, which I love that guy. Juan Manuel was a mother. Miguel, Paulie was out there. Zab was out there. Costa Zoo was out there. And by the way, y'all better look at Costa Zoo's son, boy. Costa Zoo's son is some real shit. No, I talked about it down to Steve. It's another dude. It's another dude. It's another dude. Um, it's either France or Canada. It was two guys. It was Adonis Stevenson and another brother. He had a short hair. He had a short fade. He wear shades half the time, and he's a French accent. Because I knew Adonis, yeah, but it wasn't Adonis. Um, but now you don't see, like, you see all these guys in the same weight class. They're not trying to fight each other at all. That's a problem. That's a major problem. A major problem in boxing. You got to be able to fight somebody. So I didn't realize I was on this sucker this long. I was supposed to go for like 30 minutes. You know, yeah. Tim is Tim. People don't. Tim looking nice. You know, Tim might wind up fighting one of the Charlos if that happened because yeah, Tim is real. He's been up and coming for a minute. So that dude he gonna give people some problems. He's gonna hold a belt at some point, just in my opinion. But let me start to get out of here, y'all. Man, I'm looking at the messages and rambling all over the place. I got stuff to do too. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. But don't think it's cheating. This is what boxers do. So peace. Whew, that'll be a fight, fam. That'll be a fight.